Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video, let's look at the state management. So what is this state management? So why do we need to manage a state of something? So the main problem arises with this protocol called as HTTP. So as we discussed that HTTP is the main protocol that is used in the internet for any sort of communication. But one of the major setback of the HTTP protocol is that it is a stateless protocol. So by saying that HTTP is a stateless protocol, I get to mean that the for every HTTP request, a response will be given back, and we call this as a request response cycle. But but the HTTP, uh, by its definition, it is going to treat a cycle, a single cycle, as a one entity, and if any other request is coming and any other response was given, it is going to consider these two things as different, as a different sequence of steps. It is even if it is originating from the same server, it is still going to consider both of them as individual request. So let's see this. So let's try and understand the same using this diagram here. The browser is making, okay, is making a HTTP request, and then some response was given. And again, the browser, when it's making the request to the server, is not going to have any information about what has happened before. So it is agnostic of what happened before. It is going to treat it as another different request. It is going to process the same. So it might seem to be a good idea because we're not managing the state. So the protocol is going to be very scalable, and it is going to be fast. uh, uh, HTTP is actually supposed to be a such sort of protocol, but later when we started to create a large scale applications, so we needed to manage the state. So to manage the state, as in the Java servlet concept, we have four major concepts. We have something called as cookies, hidden form fields, URL rewriting, and session objects. 90% of the time, the thing that we're going to deal with is this session objects, but we're going to see what these concepts of cookies and all this are. So let's start off with cookies. So as we discussed that a browser and a server. So let's say you have given some username and password. So let's say if it is just a standalone HTTP protocol without any session tracking mechanism, then we're going to enter the username and password. It is going to return you something. And again, if you were to use it for some other purpose, it is not going to remember that you have logged in before. So it is going to forget it. So is there a way that you can say that I have already came to your website, I have accessed, and I have logged in. So is there a way that I can say, I have already met you? you know to sort of simulate such thing in the a server, it is going to send you something called as a cookie. a, a, cookie is it is nothing but just a small a file, or you can say it's just a small piece of text. It can have anything, but it's just a small piece of data which is going to help the server to identify your session. So usually we use this session ID. It is going to be a key that is generated not randomly. So it's going to have a session ID, and it is going to return you that a session ID, and we're going to store it in our client browser. So whenever we are supposed to send another request, we are also going to send this a session key. So using that a session key, it is going to understand your state. It is going to preserve the state of some session ID. So whenever it is getting the same request from this session ID, it is going to retrieve the state, and it is going to you know it is going to process you the request in the way it was supposed to be processed by the server logic. So let's see a real time example. So I'm actually calling this website using HTTP. I'm trying to use the get method, and then it has written me a status OK, and it has also given me something called as a cookie. It could be any text file, and that so in this case it is written me a session ID of 12345, right? And if I were to request it again without the session ID, it is not going to recognize me. But now I'm going to call the same website with the same URL, but this time I'm also going to pass something called as the cookie, and I'm going to provide the session ID. So using the session ID, it is going to identify who I am, right? But there's actually some sort of concerns regarding the cookies. So cookies can be, they are actually enabled on your browsers, but there is a way that you can disable them. So if they are disabled, then we won't be able to manage the session. But it's not the case. Even if the user is not accepting the cookies, we're still supposed to ensure that the state is maintained. Then we came up with two other ways of managing the state. So we're going to use something called as hidden form field. So instead of explicitly us sending it with the HTTP header, we're going to send it as a hidden value into the URL. So using this hidden, so this is a HTML code. So using the input type equals to hidden, we can make that value hidden. And here I'm actually providing what is the whatever the information which is needed to track the session. So yeah, so this will be in the request parameter. So using the request parameter, it can access this values, and it can confirm if the user had any previous interactions with the server. And then hidden form field might not be a great solution if you were to do that everywhere. So we came up with the URL rewriting. So in this way, we can literally append all this information into the URL by actually extracting the present URL, and you can append whatever the values that you wanted the server to know. You can append that into the URL. So you are actually rewriting the entire URL and sending it to the server. So the user might not see this as this is an internal call. So using the URL rewriting as well, so we still have this issue of uh, attacks on this URL. In all of these cases, it is not ensured that it is being explicitly have taken in a very encrypted form. So we are literally sending everything in the form of URL. So any attacks could be easily done, right? So that's why the Java came up with something called as the session objects. So they're very much similar to cookies, but the way they operate is a bit different. So here the cookies. So here using the cookies, I can see that we're actually calling the login. I'm actually trying to log in, and then it is actually sending me back a cookie. And then when I'm again trying to call that server, it is appending the of cookie along with the request, so I can access the resource without any issue. But now the session ID is a bit different, as the session ID will have some more processing to so the session ID has more attributes. We can set as many attributes as we want, and we don't have the restriction on the amount of the data that has to be put. And since it is actually managed by the Java servlet, so we can have the so we don't have any sort of compatibility issues as well. So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to create a session, and a session ID will be given, and then when I'm and then this a session ID will be sent back, and with another request I'm going to get the session ID, and I can verify that, and then I can send back the resource. So it's actually sort of the same thing, but a session ID ensures that it is actually present in its internal DB to sort of understand if the sessions are properly managed. And the session object can be extracted using the request parameter. So we'll see how we can practically make a use case out of it. And the most modern way of using the session tracking is using the JSON web token. A JSON web token is going to have a lot of fields. It's going to have a header of its own. It's going to have a payload of its own. It's going to have a signature. A signature is in I think you must have heard of the something called as digital signatures. So they are generated using some sort of hashing algorithms. So we're going to get some sort of a hash key, and it is also going to say what is the algorithm used to generate the hash key, and then it is going to have the actual data. It's going to have its own header, and this entire JWT token is going to be appended while you are calling for request. So we're going to give some sort of request. So it is going to create a JWT token, which is more formidable. Which is more formidable than a session ID, which is just a random number, which could be cracked using some sort of brute force attacks. Uh, and then this and also the JWT token is going to be encrypted as well. So there is a really a less chance of it being attacked, and then the further communication happens easily. So this is specifically called as the a token based authentication. So, and there are actually many other ways we can further provide security, but this is how we can sort of implement the a state management mechanism through our Java code.